Welcome back everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use a solar panel to power an automatic pump connected to your rain barrel. With this fully automated setup, the sun will hit the solar panel, charge a battery, which in return will power the pump to water your lawn or garden with rainwater. You can also use a basic timer to set the system to your watering needs, and you can quickly disconnect the system if the additional water isn't needed, and that's a great feature since typically the rain barrel will be full after a storm, and you might not need any additional water for several days. My apologies for recording over the original sound, but unfortunately there was a storm coming through and the wind makes it very difficult to hear things clearly otherwise. To complete this project, you'll need a few basic tools: a Phillips screwdriver, a pair of pliers, wire strippers, thread tape, and a drill. This is a DIY project that can easily be done on your own with the information from this video, and it'll save you thousands compared to an in-ground irrigation system that would continue to use electricity and sewage. The system is also transportable, meaning you can move it from one location to another if you need water in another location. That's it, and as mentioned, anybody can do this. For components in the system, I'll leave links to all the versions I use in this video description, but there are of course many options you can choose from if you prefer. The first thing we need to do is hook the solar panel up to a charge controller. This might sound complicated, but it's not. We're going to drill a hole, feed some wire through a cable gland which will seal the connection, and attach two wires to the controller which will later attach to the battery. If you'd like to keep the system hooked up, you'll want a waterproof container, and we're going to drill a pilot hole first. This is just a small hole to help the larger drill bit cut through after. Place the pilot hole wherever you like, but I recommend placing it higher up on the container. That way the screen for the controller is more accessible, and you can use the rim at the bottom of the container for the battery and pump. Next, use the larger drill bit to expand the hole so the cable gland will fit. You'll need a hole large enough to accommodate the threads of the cable gland, but smaller than the nuts that secure the connection. In general, there's a fair bit of leeway here. Next, feed the wires of the solar panel from the outside into the container, but make sure the tightening lock for the gland is on the wires before doing so. Slide the wire as far in as you'd like, but the more wire you leave on the outside, the more freedom you'll have to position your solar panel. You essentially just want as little wire as necessary in order to connect the controller. Tighten the lock nut to hold the wires in place, and then take a look at your controller. They're all pretty similar. It will either have written labels or icons for which parts connect where. The word solar, or a picture of a solar panel, are the two connections we want right now. Use a screwdriver to loosen those two terminals, and then slide the appropriate wires into the slots and tighten the screws to hold those in place. Red is for positive and black is for negative. Now we'll want to take some lengths of wire to connect the controller to the battery. 12 or 14 gauge wire should do just fine for this project. Use your wire strippers to expose about 3/8 of an inch on all ends of this wire. Find the terminals labeled battery on your controller and insert the wires into them the same way you did with the solar panel. There's no need to drill another hole at this point, as these connections will remain inside of the container. For the ends going to the battery, I'd recommend using two eyelets, as it will make the connection to the battery very simple. Crimp these on with your wire strippers and then connect them to the battery with some nuts and bolts. When connecting or disconnecting to the battery, make or break the connection with the negative terminal. That means to connect the positive end first and then the negative end. To disconnect it, you'd remove the negative end first. Once complete, you can place the battery inside the container. Here's what you should have so far: a battery with two wires going to the controller, two more wires from the controller passing through the container to the solar panel on the outside, and none of this has been difficult so far. Regardless if you choose to use the pump in the video description or not, I'd recommend one with quick connects. That'll allow you to use an alligator adapter that comes with a built-in fuse to protect the system. It'll also make hooking the pump up to the battery incredibly easy, since you'll just clip onto it and unhook it if you want to ensure the water doesn't turn on. You can also use the system manually this way if you prefer not to use an automatic timer, and that setup might be useful if you plan to move the container around to various rain barrels. Depending on which model pump you purchase, the inlet and outlets for the water may be a different size than your hose fittings. A typical hose fitting is 3/4 inch. You can look up the size that are on the pump from the manufacturer's website, and even Amazon typically has a listing for these when you purchase it. With the specifications, you can go to your local hardware store and ask them for pipe reducers that match. Install any necessary adapters with thread tape to ensure a good seal. Be careful when tightening any connections with a wrench or pliers as to not damage the pump housing. Do this to both sides, and the adapters or number of adapters you need may be different on each side depending on what's needed for the inlet and the outlet. Again, worst case, you could carry your pump down to the hardware store and they should be able to help you there as well. You're almost there, and we're ready for the final steps. Attach the inlet hose, or the one you'll be connecting to the rain barrel. It may be difficult to see in the video, but the inlet and outlet will be labeled on the pump. This will have arrows indicating the direction of water flow. Once the inlet hose is connected to both the pump and the rain barrel, connect the outlet hose to the pump and the other end to whatever you'd like to attach. In this video, we'll use a lawn sprinkler as an example. Connect the pump to the battery, and remember, this system is designed to have the pump inside of the container. If you'd like to use another cable gland, you can run the wires from the pump to the battery inside. You'll also want to place the solar panel outside of the container as well. I'm recording this video in preparation for the season to come, so the image in the video varies slightly since I'm testing the components. Remember, you can install an automatic timer as well between the pump and the outlet hose if you'd like to fully automate the system. Regardless, you now have a fully automatic self-watering system that uses solar power and rainwater. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.